Like, share, subscribe. Live for Love TV. Awesome!
Like, share, and subscribe. Live for Love TV. Oh.
Like, share, Live for Love TV.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Today's the 21st day of the third month, the 22nd year inside the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Today I think we'll talk about this World War III that people are terrified of coming in the very near future. Now, ever since there was a World War II, people have assumed that there must be a World War III, and if there's a World War III and people are alive, people will assume there's going to be a World War IV. Now, who knows? I don't know. If you believe in prophecy, some people say it's there. I don't know. But a lot of people are talking about World War III, and they really have no context of history when they talk about these world wars. Let me give you an example. Between 1914 and 1918, what is now known as the World War I occurred. But at the time of the war, and at the time of the war starting, or just before it started, it was actually called the War to End All Wars. Because there had been many, many wars throughout history. Not long before that, the Boer War in South Africa, the British and the Dutch colonials that had settled in South Africa had not long finished. Mr. Winston Churchill was in that war as a young man, and he actually got captured in that war. He was a prisoner of war in that war, whether you know that or not, but some maybe useless information for you there. But it was called a war to end all wars. And in fact, the Jehovah's Witness claimed that that was the end of the world. And after that, there'll be the Bible Revelation talks about 1,000 years after that, where the devil was let loose and all this kind of stuff, or that was the end. But that was what they believed. That was the end of the world, 1914. So when it didn't end the whole world, as people believed it would, there was a complete, as you know, Jehovah's Witness changed the concept. As I said, they now said, oh, that's 1,000 years, the start of that 1,000 years that's mentioned in Revelation. But prior to that, they had clearly claimed this was it, this was the end, this is where the Almighty was coming from. And the people who were also, in the colonies and the countries and the British and all the rest claimed, as I said, it was a war to end all wars. But it didn't end all wars. So as the war ended, they knew another war was coming. And as the Second World War became number two. So the numbers started way after the First World War, or the war to end all wars had finished. That's when the numbers of 1, 2. So all this concept of wars to end all wars, which is 1, which is 2, which is 3, you can debate that for yourselves. It's just a little brief history. Remember, the war to end all wars is based on resources. When the European powers decided to carve up Africa and India and everywhere else in the world, basically the 4 corners of the world, they carved it up, especially Africa. They were carving it up to see who can control the most resources. Well, within not long after that happened, maybe 10, 15 years, certain people who were in that carving up decided that they were robbed at the Berlin conference, that they got a smaller bit than this person, Belgium got bigger bit, Germany got a bit too small a bit, and everybody was arguing amongst themselves, basically thieves as they were, falling out amongst thieves. So this is what caused the First World War. Because remember, Germany controlled a certain amount of countries prior to the First World War. And when they lost the First World War, they lost all those colonies that they were in control of. Now this is what also called the Second World War. Resources again, because when Hitler comes up and he's still paying back debts from the First World War to the French and the rest of the Allies, he says to his people, the reason you're poor and they're rich is because they stole your lands in Africa and in other parts of the world. That's the only reason you guys are suffering. That's what he told the German people. And he said, I'll make you great again. I'll get back what belongs to you. And this is what he told his people. And so again, it was a war of resources. So when you heard recently of the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war, there's never been a war with these people that's not about resources. They always use, this person's not treating their people well, this person's doing this person slighted this person invaded this. It's just smoke and mirrors. The truth is, every war, since wars have been fought, these wars with these people have been fought for the resources of this world. And that's why I always say, even if people say it wasn't a true world war, it was a European tribal war, I always challenge that. Because it wasn't a European tribal war. It may be European powers fighting one another, but it was for the resources of the whole planet. And therefore, a place like Namibia, which was under Germans' rule, change over to the UK's rule and places like that once the Germans lost that power. So even if you had nothing to do with the war, your master, so to speak, or the ruler of your part of the place that you live changed. And if, as they say, Germany had won the Second World War, the people probably listening to this right now, me myself, would have to be speaking German in order to be understood. So these wars have been going on for a very long time. And I'm going to tie this in with a video I've also done, which hasn't come out yet, but should come out very soon, when it talks about the end of the world. As I said, this end of the world theory, or the end of time theory, is scriptural. It has no evidence in practicality. And that's why the Jehovah's Witnesses were fooled by the First World War, and other people were fooled by it. And they always believe, and this is the end, it's going to be the end of mankind, and after this war, there'll be no more. This is always going to happen because people are holding on to a preconception of a particular scripture that says that the world will end. I don't know how anyone can believe such a thing if they have a concept of history and how long human beings have actually been on this planet. The fear that things are going to end is natural. We're human beings, we're mortal in this flesh. So I understand. I mean, you're going to end watching me. This video is going to end, and I'm going to end at some point. So the fear of the end, I understand. People have this kind of, morbid fear of the end. But the end of times, the end of the world, no. It's always going to be the end of mankind. And when man talk about global warming, I don't talk about stuff like that on Live for Love TV, because it's really not an interest of mine. It's a childish, egotistical concept that if men died, the planet will die. That's an egotistical concept. All of us could die off this planet tomorrow, every human being, and the planet to some form will continue to go on. So when people say they're saving the planet, they're not saving the planet. They're talking about saving themselves. That's what they're talking about. Well, if you want to save yourselves, be a better person. Treat the planet better, and the planet will take care of you. The planet brought you. The planet is what you know nothing before. So if you treat the planet well, the planet will treat you well. And if the planet has no use for human beings or any other life form that has disappeared off Earth, the planet has gone on. There's lots of extinct animals that were here thousands of years or hundreds of years ago. The planet has gone on. And if the planet has no use for these creatures, or even if it's us as human beings, or if you want to talk about Neanderthals, whatever you want to talk about, then they'll disappear just like everything else. And so be it. The planet goes on, life goes on. And I'd say don't be afraid of it. These world wars, of course they're gonna hurt people. People are gonna die in wars, and people are gonna be maimed and hurt and stuff. But this is the way it's always been. There's always wars, and the wars are always based on resources, greed, who wants what, who believes they have a God-given right. As you'll see in the Old Testament, the Jews who claim to be the chosen people, they never built anything. They're not builders, they were thieves. They went around the world conquering lands and saying that God said that they should have it. That's what they did. They waited for other people to build cities, build economies, build things, and then they went in and conquered it. That's what we're living through now. So you see everybody who's claiming to be a so-called Jew, if they read in Scripture, this is probably why we're seeing what we're seeing now. People want other people to build up their resources, and they come in at midnight and steal it and kill and rob and murder. This is something that's been going on for a long time. That's why I say that there is a separation between so-called religion and spirituality, simply because spirituality doesn't believe that someone else has to suffer in order for me to get the things I need. I don't see why any person on this planet should suffer in order for me to be wealthy, rich, whatsoever. But some other people don't care about other people. They get rich at any cost. And as many people as suffer as there is, who cares? They really don't care. And that's where we get these wars from. Now we're going to have more and more wars. That's why, again, it's why this channel was set up as Live for Love TV. Let's live in love. Let's let them war, and let us produce the love amongst each other, and let them produce the hate and the war. And let's see who's here at the end of the day. Take care. See you soon. Live for Love TV.